2 races down and 1 to go in the week of short track racing here at North Wilkesboro, an area's Season 6. Welcome to the 6th race of the season for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series as we go short track racing for the first time this season. Fresh off a round at Sonoma with Darlington and Montreal coming up. This is right in the middle of one of the most challenging stints of the entire year. And with playoffs on the horizon, the intensity of the championship battles continues to rise. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy tonight for the continuation of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series Championship. And Connor, this track is rough and tumble. We've seen it so far this weekend. Some drivers seem to expect more of the same, but others seem to think that we might get more green flag racing tonight than we have all week.
We'll just have to wait and see. Usually the theme of the Pro Series is more green flag runs than the other 2 series, but with a track like this, Connor Sleppy's on broadcast. I didn't know that. Hunter's brother was on here. But I expect more green flag running. I've talked to Jake Nichols and a few other drivers. They don't expect it to be like that. We've had 37 cautions between the 2 races we've had here this week, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things play out. The setups on the other cars and the truck were a little bit more rough. I think this might be a little bit more stable. Track temp's high, but it's coming down just like the other 2 weeks, so it should be interesting. I think we're going to see a much better race, but just never know. This track's so random, so wild. Very tight-knit corners, Hunter, very tight-knit racing, so every note you have at this track's out the window regardless.
Well, there's no notes to begin with for the Pro Series at North Wilkesboro. I haven't been here. I've only seen a couple of races so far. Got to go to the Truck Series back in Season 4, and then most recently on Tuesday night. And then Monday night was the first Cup race at this track, so that's a little preview of what to expect, Kyle, but from what I've heard of the Pro Series car, the Xfinity car tends to have the most grip compared to the Cup card. Tuesday night I heard was super loose, so this setup should be somewhat more in the middle for these guys.
Yeah, 175 lap race tonight, and the race on Tuesday had quite a bit of green flag running, but kind of ended in the chaos that you'd expect at a short track. We saw something similar on Monday, but this car tends to be pretty compliant like the truck, but has some downforce to lean on in some of the faster end of the racetrack at least, but it also just tends to have the most mechanical grip of the 3 cars that we race on a weekly basis here in area, Connor. So that should help. I think there's some familiarity as well. It's been around the longest. It's seen probably the fewest changes as far as driving style in iRacing in the last decade or so. So there's a comfort and familiarity that will help tonight as well.
Yeah, I think most of these drivers are in a groove with this car. We saw some great racing at Dover a few weeks back, and that was a very small track. Yes, we saw a big crash there, but after that, it got very spread out, and we saw a lot of green flag running at a track that's very, very tough, with much higher speed corners, obviously. So I still think we're going to be in store for something better tonight. I still love the way this track races, regardless of how Monday and Tuesday went. A very fun racetrack. Once you get into a groove, you just kind of feel yourself getting faster and faster as the run goes on, even though the times will go down and down more as we look through the practice. What will pretty much be the results, just a Munsell top of the board. The top 10 separated by 600ths of a second from Munsell all the way to John Furness. So a very tight field, which has kind of been the theme. Like we saw a week ago at Sonoma, it was very, very tough.
And we don't see too many names in this field tonight. Usually we have go or go homers in, but only 36 cars in the field tonight, Kyle. And I think the main reason for that is because, at least for some people, they've made the trip down to Daytona for the weekend, and the festivities begin tomorrow night, so they want to get in early, and well, that's going to leave some spots open for some open cars. Like I know Ryan Nowicki's been trying all year to make a race, and seems like the night's going to be the night. Only 36 cars so far. Still could have a few more straggle in, but should be regardless, still should be a exciting race.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for NASCAR at Daytona this week because during my motorsport season, I rarely get to sit down and watch a NASCAR race start to finish. So I'm going to cook up some burgers on Saturday night, watch the NASCAR Cup Series race. Really excited to kind of get back into that as I got a couple weeks off before I head down to Barber. So very excited. Also excited to get things underway here tonight with all of the momentum. I think a slightly smaller field should also help the momentum of this race, Connor. But qualifying, we talk about it being critical at short tracks, but we've seen so much movement and strategy this week here. So I don't know if it's a death sentence, but it'll definitely give us an idea of who's quick out front.
Yeah, we saw some drivers come from a little bit further back on Monday to get to the front late in that race, but Tuesday night was kind of a different story. Jake Matheson led maybe all but 12 laps or so in that race. He started from pole, got the lead back from Jake Nichols on the first restart of the race, and pretty much stayed out until the final really long run of the race ended with a caution. Then he took his tires around that point, and he stayed in the lead for the rest of the race. So I still think track position is going to be very, very important. I think if you get the pole and play the strategy right, and we don't get too many long runs, which we're hoping for long runs tonight, but if that's not the case, if you play a strategy right from pole, you should be in a really, really good spot to take the checkered flag in first place, as we saw the 52 do on Tuesday night.
Oh, heading into this, we do have 6 names that are given EOLs before the, well, I should say during the race. So qualifying's not going to matter for those guys, at least for where they start in, like Jeff Wright in the 48. But one of the bigger names, James Scioli in the 7, he's got an EOL. So no matter if he qualifies first, Kyle, he's going to have to start from the rear of the field. And like I mentioned, some of the guys are down in Daytona, and this is the group. There's Jacob Bell on the left. You got Brad Slaughter on the right, and some more in the middle throughout. I think I see Ryan Swan and Bryce Senesac over there just poking his head in, but
there's changing settings, trying to see what's going on, but checking in. We'll have a look at the reaction room a couple times tonight as they celebrate that. We've got qualifying, boys, so we're going to head back down there as Jeff Wright's put his lap time in. So has Philip Groner. Jeremy Miller's on track right now. Some brightly colored 609 schemes. Connor, what's going on over there tonight? Oh, Mike. You gone?
Yeah,
there he
that
is.
would help. Just tie-dye, summer vibes. I thought they looked really, really nice when Matthew Tomalleri came up with them, and I think all 4 of them are going to look really nice tonight. Jerry Miller's looks good. Red and blue combos. Chef's kiss on that one. I really like that one, but all 4 of them look awesome. Hopefully they look awesome at the front. Philip Groner's up in pole by about a 10th over Garrett Grant. That's a really good lap by Groner. He had a rough time at Sonoma last week. He's going to try to bounce back on the oval, as Miller came across the line second on the board, but still about a 10th behind his teammate.
There's Colin Farmer on the 18 looking to put down a fast lap. See him roll through the center 1 and 2, and then on to the backstretch and into 3 and 4. And Kyle, we talked about this on Monday night. Very different ends of the racetrack.
Yeah, you go downhill into one end and uphill into the other, and that can sometimes throw off the balance of the race car. And you're carrying speed in to the downhill section into 1 and 2 there, so it can really be tricky to get the thing wound up when you've got the gravity assist. Here's another one of those 609 cars, Zach Carr. He's got kind of the watermelon paint scheme going on in the 97 as he makes his way onto the racetrack, and James Scioli is as well in the Rick's Hot Sauce number 7.
Yeah, paging Ross Chastain with the 97, but we'll see what Scioli can do. He's going to have a tough time coming from the back, and it's really a shame because hitting those tires at Sonoma, who expected that? I know he certainly didn't, as Carr goes second on the board. Make that third because Matthew Bell just jumped to provisional pole with a 4:02. That's a great lap for the 43. But yeah, Scioli's going to have a tough time coming from the back as Jake Nichols goes the first driver to go into the 19.3 bracket in qualifying.
And just keep getting faster and faster, and no surprises that the 73 is at the top of the board. Still less than 2 minutes to go. Some guys have yet to put a lap time down, and well, we'll be seeing where they start from as looking on the 13 of Braxton DeWeese.
Into turns 3 and 4, right down against that curb on the inside. You don't want to hit that once we take the green flag tonight. Lap 1 for DeWeese is a 19.442. That's a pretty decent time. It'll put him 7th. I think he'd like a little more. But Connor, typically when you charge hard that first lap, you're going to give up your speed on the second. But some drivers have been able to find some decent speed on both.
I think Nichols' first best lap was his first lap, same for Jeremy Miller and a few others, as DeWeese will try to go faster.
Oh, almost. By 9,000ths of a second, he will go slower and gets bumped down to 9th as Justin Munsell, who was fastest in practice, or was very nearly fastest in practice, goes up to 8th.
He was fastest in practice with maybe 2 minutes to go. Zach Carr beat him at the last second, but he should be a force to be reckoned with. He's usually pretty solid at short tracks. He's just all around usually solid. Ryan Hartz, we'll see if his PC can cooperate with us tonight. It did not Monday night as he comes out of turn number 2. Really sideways, might have tapped the wall, as saying, right on cue. Flags out a little bit, but I think this lap hopefully should still count. It was a slight blink, but that is going to be a tough corner exit. That wall comes right out at you.
5th.
Well, I think that is a good
Connor
lap.
O'Kresick. Holy
I was just
cow.
about to say, Connor O'Kresick just obliterated Jake Nichols' lap time by about 4/10 or so.
Yeah, so Connor O'Kresick goes to the top. I'm showing him at a 19.347. Jake Nichols at a 19.387, so it was slight, but he did get to the top, and that'll put Connor Okrezik on pole. Ryan Nowicki will start last. He's the only driver that didn't put down a qualifying time, as qualifying for race 6 of the season here at North Wilkesboro is complete. And race fans, make sure you subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat and earn double channel points that you can use to redeem for free merchandise for just $5 a month. Join today at twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Let's have a look at the drivers giving us onboard perspectives here tonight. Travis Beckner, as always, giving us a look inside his emotions. There he is. I don't know if he's pointing at us or if he is pointing at something else on screen. Braxton DeWeese giving us a look. It is dark in there, but giving us a little bit of a perspective, and a few others. Ryan Nowicki will run from the tail of the field. He's got his cat in hand. Mine has not joined me just yet, but I'm sure he will later. And as always, Justin Munsel's perspective as he gets set up. Got the muscle shirt on, ready to muscle his way to the front. And of course, well, there's a few others that are trying to give us perspectives, but those that will, there's the Peanut Gallery hanging out, waiting for us to take the green flag here tonight. That's a great looking theater room, by the way, guys. Where else would you want to watch racing?
Cameron Hearn in the middle.
God, that's Cameron Hearn's music.
Man.
Yeah, they're locked and loaded over there, so don't go barging into their house.
Looks like a lot of fun over there. I got to say, I got to up my game as far as seating.
Seats, yeah.
I have the same $80 Target spinny chair that I've had for the last 5 years.
You see, look at the popcorn machine behind Brad. He's just out
of front. It's just
behind him. It's just behind
him.
What does it look like an old-fashioned one? It's like under his armpit.
Little Rick's hot sauce?
You barely see it. Oh, there it is.
There it is. That's cool.
Galloway, Brad.
Giving us a look. All that you need now is a soda fountain, and I think you've got that place pretty well tricked out.
Oh, that would be sick.
Wouldn't it? Man. Anyway, with that complete, there's our drivers giving us onboard looks here tonight. A few others are trying to give us a look. We'll see if they get things sorted. But with the intensity of short track racing, guys, 175 laps is going to go by pretty quickly if we get a bunch of green flag running, Connor. So that's a big consideration. What does your strategy look like if we do get green flag laps? Could we even conceive green flag pit stops at a place like this? That'd be tricky.
I think it would be very tricky to get in and out of green flag pit stops. Dover is the toughest pit entry, but this is still very close up there as well. But I think what's more tough here is the pit exit if we got the green flag pit stops. There is no pit exit line. You're straight onto the track where everyone's running on the bottom of the racetrack. I don't perceive that happening, unfortunately, but we'll just have to wait and see. If we get a long green flag run, just one, you'll see everyone pit after that green flag run because they'll most certainly know that's the opportunity to take the freshest tires for another restart because one caution could breed a whole bunch more, as we saw Tuesday night for sure. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I think track position, you're going to try to stay out as long as possible until that green flag run eventually hits.
Not only that, but throughout the run, we're going to see more cars venture into that outside lane, kind of like what we saw on Monday night, where they in the second lane, third lane, fourth lane. Travis Beckner was running the Larson line basically through 1 and 2, trying to arc it as wide as possible, but 3 and 4, completely different ballgame.
As we look at the weather, Connor, that's something that you brought up earlier. It's been cool here this week. Ambient temps, track temp just over 100 degrees and fairly humid, but things have cooled off as you're racing in the late afternoon here. And as the track temperature drops, it brings the grip level up. It brings the aggression level up as well. So how much will that be a factor tonight versus Monday and Tuesday?
I think it'll be less of a factor than Monday. I think it might factor in more than it did Tuesday. Monday night, it cooled off so much, and there's obviously, with the way that next-gen car kind of handled, the tire advantage that guys who pit late had was kind of nullified because of the cooler temps. Tuesday night, we didn't really see that come into play because we got so many yellows, and the pit stops were pretty much done after that one long green flag run we had where Jake Matheson pit then went to victory. So I think if we get that green flag run tonight, it is going to be interesting to see if the tires react the same way. I think the Xfinity cars are still going to be sliding off the corners, so you will still need that extra grip to get off the corners late in the race, but the track temp cools down into the mid-80s like we've seen the other two nights. It might not be as much of a factor, so that final pit stop might have to be earlier than all these drivers are thinking.
And Hunter, also the other thing to consider, we have a bunch of drivers that have to serve VOLs, including James Scioli in the number 7. That's a driver that is always on the list of favorites. The 48 has to drop to the rear. Jeff Wright, he's got to go to the back. So there's a number of names that will have to fight their way through the field. But based on what we saw on Tuesday, that doesn't seem to be quite the death sentence that it was, or that we would have thought it would be at any other short track.
No, but it's kind of different for Scioli because even though he does have a win on the season, after last week's race at Sonoma, he's outside the top 20 points. So for the moment, he's not currently locked in. But The EOL definitely not doing him any favors, as he's going to have to make his way from the back to the front quick and not spin out like the 18 of Colin Fambrough.
Yeah, this is something that we've been following all week long, Connor, is just the handling characteristics here. This is a relatively flat short track. It's a 0.6 of a mile circuit, so it's a little bit bigger than a place like Bristol. But one thing that you have at Bristol that you don't have a lot of here is banking. The banking helps keep the car stuck to the road. When you pull that away, all that force has to go somewhere. It's to the outside. That means braking, getting slowed down for the corner is so much more challenging here than it is a place as a place like Bristol, where you're carrying a lot more speed, but you've got that banking to lean on.
And this might be it might be the smallest track in maybe the world that has elevation change this heavy. You go into turn number 3, you're kind of maybe going downhill a little bit, but once you get out of the corner, you're going uphill right here, a big uphill charge out of the corner, and then into turn number 1, very downhill, as Travis Beckner tries to drift, and he's not gonna. That's not how you do it. But turn number 1, you go down in there. It is hard to get the car tightened down and not going all over the place. Even if you have a loose race car, even if the car is tight, you are going downhill. The rear end's going to come unsettled. You're going to slide into turn number 1, like we saw so many drivers do this week already. That's really the big trouble spot.
Well, before we get rolling here, we'll go through our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. If you're looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or a Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 28 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to CentralMobileHomesInc.com to get started today. And with that, let's head down to the racetrack and roll through our Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. It's Connor Okresic late to the pole, but he got there ahead of Jake Nichols in at number 73, Connor.
Yeah, that's going to be a good battle between those two. Matthew Bell had a good lap as well. He'll start 3rd. Philip Groner, already 2 wins this season, and he'll start in the 4th position.
In row number 3, it's Ryan Hartz in the number 54. Zach Carr will roll off to his outside in the number 97.
7th position goes to the 22 of Trey Eitzen and another Camaro alongside. 8th place, James Scioli, but he'll drop to the rear.
And 9th place, it's Justin Munsell in the number 6, fastest in practice, fastest in warm-up. He's one to watch. Ben Pierce starts 10th in the number 65, but he's got to go to the rear too.
11th position, we have an onboard with Braxton DeWeese. He's had a solid season to start. He starts 13th at the half. He starts 11th in the 13 at the halfway point, and Travis Beckner will start 12th.
And in 13th place, John Forbes Jr. in the number 78, and then Greg Mitchell rolls off 14th in the number 2.
15th position, the 30 of Jeremy Miller alongside the most starts in area history, the 16th position, Garrett Graham.
17th place, Bronson Stafford in the number 61 Toyota Supra. John Furness rolls from deep in the field at 18th in the 28 car.
Brody Falliker will qualify and start in that 19th position. He'll be alongside the 17 of Ryan Nardone.
21st place, Jeff Wright at the 48. He will go to the rear. Shane Darien in the number 9 starts 22nd.
23rd position goes to the 38 of Alex Bryson, who does not have to go to the rear. He'll start 23rd position. Colin Fambrough, who we saw have some slides in practice, he will start 24th.
25th place, Casey Lakatos at the number 50. Late entry to the race, but he will roll off the inside of row 13. Shane Abbey in the 84 starts alongside him at 26th.
Row number 14, Alex Bell in the 15, a Chevy Camaro this season, alongside open driver Justin Anasogak in the 88.
Alex Weaver starts 29th in the number 29 car. Ed Robertson 30th in the number 64.
31st position as the drivers of VOLs drop to the rear. Devin Johnson in a number 3 will start 31st. Cedric Hunter in a rare Ford Mustang starts back in 32nd.
In 33rd place, it's Scott Shive in the number 81, and Blaze McKinney starts 34th in the 87 car.
35th position goes to Zach Nichols. Rare bad qualifying ever for him. He's usually one at the front. He'll have work to do. Ryan Nowicki, maybe his first start of the season in pro. I'm not fully sure, but he'll start in the 36th and final position. But he'll probably get at least 1 or 2 extra rows with the EOLs we have.
All right, one last look at the weather before we go racing tonight. 95-degree Fahrenheit track temp, 69 degrees air temperature. And let's pick our favorites. Hunter, let's start with you. Who's winning this race tonight?
That man on the outside of Connor Okresic, Jake Nichols, will win.
Okay, not a bad pick. Connor, who you got?
I feel like I've been picking him a lot, but I think something's got to give eventually. He's been too fast to not break through. I'm going Zachary Carr.
Oh, well, I like the speed. This, again, against my better judgment, I like the speed that Justin Munsell has. I think tonight he shakes off all the bad luck that he's had. I think he gets it done here at North Wilkesboro. He starts 9th in row number 5. Well, the field gets packed up, paired up behind the Ford FR500 Mustang pace car. This race is 175 laps. If it goes green from flag to flag, it'll take us about 56 minutes. Likely to see some yellows along the way, and then we're likely to see some pit strategy along the way as well. Nick Nichols in that 73 starts on the outside, and a couple 609 cars with Philip Broner up on the outside lanes. Likely see some lane development tonight. Drivers trying the inside and the outside, but Race 6 of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series is about to go short track racing for the first time. It will not be the last this season. Here comes the field out of turn number 4. Green flag flies, and we're racing at North Wilkesboro. Three wide, in trouble. The 97 goes in the fence into turn 3. Everybody scatters and tries to dodge him, and I think they have done that. But that's huge issues for Zach Carr.
Wonder who got the lead. It might have been Jake Nichols, but I think Zachary Carr, he'll probably be fine. A little bit of right side damage. Just a squeeze play, as we'll get the Hendrick County Motorsports Park instant replay. Travis Beckner, he's been doing this move all week, jumps up to the outside, gets there, and Hartz kind of blinks out, and I think Zach kind of got worried and tried to give the 54 room, and just ran out of room.
Well, immediately Travis Beckner went to the outside, and yeah, you mentioned that 54 blinking in and out, but there was no surprise. I mean, I was a little bit surprised to see him do that, but he did that Monday night, Kyle. He went to that outside lane and it worked for him, so right off the bat he tried it and he was caught in a pickle.
Yeah, just such tight quarters there in the opening laps. You think you just want to get settled in, but the aggression level has been high just because of how important track position is. It's going to put the 97 to the back of the field. The one saving grace, Connor, is I don't think he's got all that much damage, so he should be fine. But now, instead of qualifying up where he did, he's effectively going to be starting 35th in a race that's 5 or 6 laps shorter.
I'm sure he won't be happy with it. I'm sure he probably disagrees with going 3 wide lap 1, but you know, that's racing, and with how important track position has been all season long, well, all week long, I should say. It's not very surprising to see Beckner go for it, but he should be thankful he didn't hit that opening. He was very close to getting more damage than he did. I thought we were about to see someone test that wall in that opening, but I think he'll recover. He's got plenty of time. He'll get at least some damage repaired, and I think he'll be back up there in no time.
And you mentioned how key track position is. Jake Nichols snatched the lead from Connor Kresick right away.
Yeah, right away, got it, and it's important for these restarts. We saw that be the case on Tuesday, that the driver that controlled the restarts late in the game was really untouchable. I don't think that you're infallible up front. Certainly make a mistake that will lose you the spot, but it gives you a big advantage. The ability to kind of get ahead on those restarts, especially with how early the restart zone is in the corners. Everyone's still got wheel in it in the radius. Accelerate a lot better on the flat and on the straight. Doubled up for the restart though. Nichols elects for the inside lane. That's something we saw earlier in the week get played with a bit. Whether you start inside or outside kind of depends on who's behind you. He's got teammate Philip Broner in tow in row number 2. Let's try this again. Lap 7. Green flag back in the air in North Wilkesboro.
Oh, Braxton DeWeese is spinning into turn number 3. He saved it somehow. Goodness.
That was a big slide there for the driver, 5th in points. Surprisingly, he's 5th in points even after missing only 1 race, but that slide almost sent him further back in the points.
You can tell he's still trying to get everything gathered back up. Take a deep breath. That was a heck of a moment right in the middle of the field. It's hard to gather control without taking yourself or anybody else out. Big slide from John Forbes Jr. in the 78. He had that thing hung halfway out to Chinatown there in the Camaro.
When you slide the rears like that, we saw it especially on Tuesday night, you slide the rears, you're going to be dying for at least 10 laps, maybe more. So DeWeese and Forbes are going to have to sit back a little bit, at least on corner exit, to make sure they don't have another big slide and hope they don't make it a theme, as around the outside goes Jeremy Miller for the 11th position. John Furness to the inside of Greg Mitchell. He's on the outside, and pretty single file at the front of the field. Nichols, O'Kresick, Broner, the top 3. Then Travis Beckner looking to be inside of Ryan Hartz, and we're in a madhouse in the back.
Yeah, lots of side-by-side action, even 3 wide towards the rear of the field at some point, but Up front, it's still Travis Speckner holding fourth. Hart's trying to look to the outside, but to his inside is Justin Munsell trying to crack the top 5.
Yeah, Munsell was moving forward pretty quickly, isn't he? Started 9th. Used the early moments to advance up a few positions, and again, his single car pace was really good. That's something that, without a long green flag run, Connor, you might not get to put on display entirely, but if you have short run pace, you'll be in a good place tonight, I think.
I think so, and we'll see if that comes into play. What I'm seeing come in play right now is we're not seeing a higher line quite yet. Ryan Hart's got put to the outside by Travis Beckner and just dropped like a rock, and there's really not a lot of grip up there at this point as Beckner tried to charge lower than Groner, couldn't do it at the front. They go single file, but Brody Faliker and Alex Bell will come together. You can see these guys on the outside kind of struggling to get the power down and just not getting the run out of the corner like they need to right now to make that line work, as you can see him backing up again. Here comes Alex Bryson. It's kind of looking like Martinsville. It's just a conveyor belt around the inside at this point as McKinney opens the door, even got sideways trying to do so.
Yeah, they're catching Colin Fambro as Falker's looking to the inside of him for 19th and on board. The number 87 of Blaze McKinney had a solid night Monday, but then got caught up in some shenanigans and it's got some penalties to serve for Monday's race. But
gosh, it's so
giving a
tight.
little love tap to Alex Bell.
It's so tight off into the corners, and one of the things we saw a lot on Monday and Tuesday is drivers getting into the corner really hot and just looping underneath somebody, just trying to stay off the car to the outside. There's not a car-sized hole at the inside of Alex Bell, but McKinney is jamming that Camaro in there, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was very aggressive on Monday night. He went 3 wide on me, like lap 2 or something. So that's how aggressive he was. He's really the first one to really try going way high in turns 1 and 2 on the outside and got to the right rear of Alex Bell. So if he starts making a higher line work, everyone else is going to start seeing that and trying to jump up there. He's the first to test it out. He's just trying to find any way by the 15. I think he is faster, just a little bit held up right now. As back of the lead still pretty close, so Krezik's not letting Jake Nichols go away. Philip Groner has a rear bumper full of Travis Beckner at the moment.
And Travis Beckner is still making that climb up. He's stuck in 4th right now, but you mentioned that he's on the bumper of Philip Groner, just trying to see if he can navigate his way around or force him into an error. But for the time being, it's still solid inside the top 5 with Munsell lurking not too far behind, and Bell, Eidson, Furness, Mitchell, and Jeremy Miller round out the top 10.
This already has spread out more than we saw on Monday or Tuesday, which I think bodes well for the runs in this race, but that will create desperation on the restarts later, Connor, because if things get spread out quickly, you're going to try to take advantage of those restart opportunities. I'm impressed that Deweese has been able to kind of shake off the rust there, shake off that moment, and try to move his way back forward.
Like he's got the tires back under control. Oh, Faliker, big shot to the 18's left side door, so he'll fall maybe an extra position there. Just got a little too high out of the corner as Ryan Hart's dropped out of the race, so his computer has once again not cooperated with him. You can see that's that little wiggle, and nothing the 18 did wrong. He just doesn't have enough room to collect that wiggle, but at least he saved the race car eventually as the 54's dropped out. Munsell's up to 5th, and here comes Beckner to the inside of Groner for that 3rd position. Is still not looking like that middle line is working quite yet.
Yeah, unfortunate to see Hart's retire so early due to internet connection issues, not of his own doing, but Beckner's still strong to the inside, trying to clear the 11, but that outside lane's starting to come in, and Beckner wanted to close the door there, but he couldn't do it because Groner still got to his quarter panel, but now he's got Munsell to his inside. Yeah,
it's going to open the door for the number 6, and he'll take that opportunity to just get some overlap. Groner kind of moved down a half a lane to cover it. But the 6 car looks quick. He's going to jam the nose to the inside. I don't think the patience is there as much as it looked like there would be.
There was a lot of room there, but it gets small in a hurry because you don't really have a curb in 1 and 2 like you do in 3 and 4. It's just grass, and you're usually trying to cut down to that grass on the exit of 2 to get the best run out. And that was kind of a case where Groner tried to go for it. Munsell almost jammed the door wide open on accident, and that could have been bad, but they got away with it as Garrett Grant running in the 16th position. He's been slipping back. Well, actually, no, he hasn't been slipping back. He started in the 16th position. He's kind of stayed put as Blaze McKinney. Oh, Deweese got the boot for Bronson Stafford just about there.
Yeah, very tight quarters racing here. That last lap, Casey Lakatos almost spun out coming out of turn 4. Had to keep that car straight, but still proven to be a little bit of a challenge for Garrett Grant, poking his nose to the outside, but behind him, Alex Bryson in the 38 to the outside of Brody Falker for position. That is for 20th on the racetrack.
And Brody's been a little nucleus of excitement today, hasn't he? Been right in the middle of a couple fights and even had that contact and slide a few laps ago. And up on the underside of the 38. And big lunge again, and that's just costing him speed there and lighting those rear tires up, Connor. That's going to be hard to manage if he keeps spinning those on corner exit.
Trying very hard, trying to get something going. Pretty far down in points as the 42 has not made every race as well. Caution.
Ryan Nowicki.
70 is Ryan Nowicki.
Is that our second yellow of the night? This time lap 26. Let's see what happened to Mr. Nowicki.
Running in about maybe 34th position on his own and just loose into the corner, loops it around. I would not be surprised if we see some people not pit here. This might split things up a little bit. As no leaders have all pit. But you can see Hunter just looped around, no warning.
Yeah, as soon as he entered the corner, it was just snatched from him. And yep, we got pit stops in the early stages.
Oh, he's still not going.
Yeah, I was just waiting for a clean opportunity, but the cars were almost all the way around the lap, so had to wait for a safer chance. Pit lane is tight down here, Connor. It was a challenge on Tuesday in particular when everyone came down just to see your pit stall. And we're going to see maybe some shifting and shuffling. Beckner, oh, it's going to be tight between him and Okrezik, but I think Okrezik got him and will come out second. Maybe third.
Devin Johnson. I don't know where Devin Johnson came from. Maybe he got out first, but it looks like Beckner did kind of stay put in the third position, and Nichols just barely beat Okrezik out. That timing line is right at Okrezik's box, so I was a little surprised he didn't get the 73, but either way, Nichols will maintain at least first on fresh tires. We do have some drivers trying to get track position staying out.
I think Devin Johnson's still a lap down.
All right, he did pit with the leaders. That was odd. I was wondering why he was up there.
That almost threw me in for a loop too, but looks like the big winner out of that is the 73 of Jake Nichols.
Braxton DeWeese is leading this race now. He's one of 6 drivers that stayed out. You see on the left-hand side of the screen, those are the 0, have not yet come to pit lane. But I wanted to go back to his moment early. That was lap number 7 that he had a bit of a slide of this on his own. Or maybe it was with some assistance. Contact from the 78. Yeah. And that was a great save, guys. That's about as sideways as you can get an Xfinity car without ending up in the kitty litter there, huh?
And he was really on the flat, too, once Forbes hit him on the bumper. Gets the rear tires lifted up, even gets some grass a little bit, gets the splitter on the grass a little bit, and just has enough to save that car. That was really, really impressive. And drivers like that, well, he's 5th in points with one less start. It's been a very impressive season for him so far, and he doesn't even have a team. It's kind of like how Blaze McKinney was last season, didn't have a team, was running so well. But this will be interesting. I thought more people might try to stay out as we get the peanut gallery in here again. I thought more people would stay out, but I think it's going to be interesting. There was like half a second to fall off.
No surprise, Ryan Swan's face is in the middle of that Mickey Mouse poster in the back.
Is there a story behind that?
No, I just noticed that it was him, and then there's Mickey Mouse to his behind him, and then behind Sunset there's Minnie Mouse.
You said no surprise, like it's a thing that you would have expected, but
yeah. Oh, well, he loves Mickey Mouse.
I mean, hey, we all got our hobbies, right? All right, pace car is going to peel off. It's Braxton DeWeese in command. Green flag late in the restart zone, and he's gone.
It goes Beckner 3 wide to the bottom on Jake Nichols, trying to get track position over him. He's going to dive 3 wide, and Nichols is going to have to get in behind him as we are 3 wide out of the corner. Oh, there goes Justin Munsell.
And into the wall on the inside. He'll keep the car straight after bouncing off the Armco, and it's still 3 abreast out of turn 400.
Not going to be a yellow either because he was below the racing surface. Sideways in the back, it's Ed Robertson keeping his car straight. It's like all chaos has ensued on this restart. Multiple rows of 3 wide action. They're going as high as they can in the corner.
Into turn 3, they're still 3 wide. They tried 4 on the back straightaway. That math doesn't work. And there's the 2. Greg Mitchell, big lockup out of turn 4. Now they're 4 wide contact. And the 61 is going to go around in turns 1 and 2.
Caution's out. Travis Beckner just got the lead on his fresh tires before that caution came out. That was wild that somehow was only a 1-car incident after all that. Technically 2.
Yeah, and it starts, I think, with watch the 2 car on the bottom there. He's going to get really loose, and he'll save it, but then they try to go down into turn 1, and there's just not enough space because the 61 had left the middle line for a car that was to his outside. Go from high above here. He's alongside the 87. He leaves the 87 the lane, and that's what gets him tagged. And he manages to get dodged by everybody, which is impressive. And then, Connor, you noted that Travis Beckner went to the lead. Here's how that happened right before this yellow flag came out.
Hey, he got the jump on Nichols on the restart, got that 3-wide move to work, and then he just has much more grip over Deweese to get that move done. So I think Nichols was going to follow into second position, but didn't get the time to do so. So that will be interesting to see because Deweese has stayed out. If he wants to, he could elect, Travis Beckner could elect to take the outside there and maybe box the 73 in.
Well, Shy, Fambro, and Licata's 3 of those guys that stayed out decided to come in and pit. But yeah, really Deweese and Licata's, they benefited the most from staying out, even though it was like a 3-lap stint. I don't even think, maybe 2. But the rest fell outside the top 10. Brody Falliker and Zach Nichols did fall outside the top 10, but something to keep an eye on in case we get a late run or a late run to the finish.
Justin Munsell on pit lane. He is a lap down now. He's got most of his damage repaired. The car looks pretty good. It's actually kind of hard to tell what is damaged and what's the livery on that car, at least on the front. But
I think it's all left front. That would be where his worst damage is.
I guess.
But it looks like he got some repaired.
I guess for him, being a lap down, it's not a huge deal because you know you'll get more yellows. So you just kind of got to ride it out and then move your way back forward. And Travis Beckner elects for the outside lane. We haven't.
So 2 to green.
Yeah, so we haven't picked up the 1 to go yet, but he's seemingly already made his decision, Connor, which we saw earlier this week. Drivers kind of flip and flop depending on who was around them.
We're always, if you have the opportunity, you're always going to try to box in the driver that you're probably going to want to have to battle hard. You're going to have to battle hard for the win. So I think what he needs to do is pick the outside, box Jake Nichols in behind the older tires with Braxton Deweese. That could put him back the 3rd on fresh tires because Okrezik's going to be the one getting a jump behind the 27 if he picks that high side. So we'll see if he does decide to do that. It looks like he will.
So Beckner goes to the outside, and right before we get to the restart here, we've had a great look at our Hendry County Motorsports Park replays already tonight. Racing returns to the Hendry County Motorsports Park on September 7th, including 360 Top Gun wing sprints, Cruiser late models, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $15 for adults with discounted prices for seniors, teens, and kids ages 5 and under are free. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Lewiston, Florida, off U.S. Highway 27. Visit henryracing.com for more information. Field's coming to the restart here out of turn number 4 after our second yellow of the, make that 3rd yellow of the night. Green flag, and we're back underway at North Wilkesboro. Beckner's gone on that restart.
And that is exactly what Jake Nichols didn't need. Okrezik's going to get 2nd. Philip Groner probably will get the 3rd, and he's still stuck behind the 13, and he didn't get a run off the corner to go 3 wide. He's going to drop another position to Trey Eitzen. John Furness is locked behind Braxton Deweese as well.
They're really stacking up on that bottom. Deweese is for Jake Nichols in the 73. He's going to look 3 wide to the inside, split Deweese in the middle, Eitzen on the outside, and here comes the 30 of Jeremy Miller as well.
Oh, Deweese covers.
Very tight quarters there with Deweese in the center of it all. A big move from the 73. What I liked about that, Connor, is he took that car right to the bottom of the racetrack, but he didn't wash up at all. He knew it was a risky move, but he left space for everyone else to sort out their business once they realized they were 3 across.
Yeah, he did that as cleanly and politely as he could have, and that's not what North Wilkesboro was about, but he did it regardless, and that restart did cost him 2 positions. Now he's back to 5th. Teammate Philip Groner's taking that 3rd position. Trey Eitzen all the way up into 4th position out of nowhere, as Beckner already a half a second lead.
And starting to pull out from Connor Okrezik. Meanwhile, Jeremy Miller still looking to the outside of John Furness. Got that strong run off turn 2, looking to take 6th away.
Big lunges in the background there. I think that one of those cars was Zach Nichols in the Raising Cane's car. Remember that 44 did not have a qualifying effort that he was stoked about. Started 35th. He's up to 15th place, and he has yet to pit, actually, as he spins, and so does Alex Bell, and I think that was Mitchell.
We got a big one for him.
Garrett Grant. Oh, Blaze McKinney has big damage as well.
It is Garrett Grant. I thought it was the 2 of Mitchell, but maybe it was him also. Number of drivers went around.
I was going to say there were 3 cars that were spinning out at one point.
I think Alex, yeah, that was weird. That was like a stack up enter in a corner.
Coming to everybody. I mean, you tell me where it starts, guys. I mean, we saw the
44 into the 15. It almost like Zach Nichols was trying to get into line, but you don't have room to really do that on a straight line, and he just pile drove. I couldn't tell if he pile drove the 15 or did Alex Weaver give him a shot. Either way, Blaze McKinney loses a rear bumper out of it. I don't know how that wasn't worse for Garrett Grant. Fambro, maybe some contact of 87, but
watch Cedric Hunter's on board here as all this goes on ahead of him.
Go.
Oh, boy. You might have had a tiny bit of contact there, but not as good as you're going to do, I think.
70 looks clean to me, so I think he got away with it. Just barely.
So that'll be free pass. I would think Justin Munsell would get that.
Or maybe it's Ed Robertson?
He's down on pit lane. I didn't see the 64 go a lap down, but he might have late in that last sequence.
I think he just did. I don't know. It's interesting. I didn't see anyone come around the pace car.
Couple penalty points for the 44. We're just talking about his progress forward, and this will take him right to the back. As things up front getting hotter with Beckner, Okresic, Broner, Eitzen, and Nichols. And Connor, you pointed out the 22. To 7th. He's quietly been lurking there in that Mobile 1 car. I love the livery on this. This is a fantastic looking car. Very much Sam Hornish Jr. vibes. Is it the old Sam Hornish scheme? If it's not, it's very reminiscent of it.
I think it's reminiscent. I don't think it's the same thing, but it's a pretty impressive climb that we didn't really know until he got up to 4th. He started in 7th, but went pretty far down the order, and all of a sudden's up into the 4th position. So he had maybe a great restart there as Braxton DeWeese is stacking under yellow.
He's got one of those. He's got what are those cookies called? Really soft ones.
They're like caked up. I don't remember what they're called,
Someone's
but I know what you're talking about. Just sugar cookies. Yeah,
but they're called the thing though. They're specific. You know what I mean?
I know what it is, but
what are those things called? Swedish. They're Swedish somethings.
What?
Yeah. Hold on.
I don't know. I can't.
Soft cookies. Swedish.
20 car pileup. Okay, they're Swedish.
I don't know. I can't remember. Beckner. Someone will help me out, please. Someone.
Beckner picked the outside, by the way, folks.
All I'm getting is super soft sugar cookies.
I know what they are. I don't know the name of them. They're just cookies to me.
Is it Loft House?
They have icing.
It's not a brand.
It's not a brand. He's trying to get the specific name.
Yeah. Anyway,
they're just soft cookies to me. That's all. Well, they have icing. They're good.
Someone will help me. Here we go. Out of turn 4, lap 50 on the restart. Beckner on the outside. Big wiggle from Okresic. I think they got it all sorted by the time they.
Ryan Nowicki crashing to the inside wall down the front, but he kept it straight.
I think he just Trey Eitzen.
Trey Eitzen looking to take 2nd away from Connor Okresic. I was to mention the 22, his best finish this season is 7th. He's deep in the points. He needs a good run, and he's doing just that.
23 and 11 are side by side, 2 teammates there. Matthew Bell in the 43. He started up in 3rd. We kind of lost track of him for a little while, but here he is back in 7th and looking for 6th. On the inside of John Furness, who started much deeper in the field, 18th up to 7th.
Little contact, Miller and not Munsell, Shane Therian in the 9, a little side-by-side there as we're 2x2, at least 3 lanes deep as Beckner pulls away just a tiny bit. This battle for 2nd will not go away, and neither will the battle for 4th or the battle for 6th. Single file, maybe 5-6 lanes deep behind that, and then even more 2x2 with Falliker and Abbey for 14th, Mitchell and Carr 16th and 17th.
Yeah, 3 rows of side-by-side behind the leader of Travis Beckner. It's still close quarters racing between the 22 and the 14. Teammates battling for 4th, and John Furness trying to re-enter the top 5.
14 and 22 still racing each other very hard into turn 1, but it looks like Eitzen had that outside line rolling, but Okresic throttled up mid-corner and gained a lot of ground, and they're still side-by-side at a 2, and it's a race into the braking zone at the other end of the racetrack.
Falliker got loose a little bit. No, excuse me, Icing got loose and just couldn't stay on the outside into turn number 3. That top line, it's getting a little bit better, but clearly still not enough to really defend as well as we've seen on Tuesday night especially. He's still just not getting enough ground through the middle of 1 and 2 to make that a real thing, as he loses another spot to Jake Nichols. Philip Groner's lined up behind him as well, really tight to the door of the 22.
Trying to push the envelope, see what they can get away with. Matthew Bell creeping in on this picture. He's up to 7th right now, as just a slew of cars side by side outside the top 10.
That's really racy from about 17th on back as well, but this is the furthest forward battle on the course at the moment. Big wiggle from the 11 of Groner. Kind of kicked that rear end out. Tire preservation doesn't seem to be top of mind, at least in these little mini battles that have popped out.
That's how important track position is. When you're in a battle like this, you cannot lose it, because you're going to go backwards maybe 1 or 2 more positions if you don't get it done. Groner, great run through 3 and 4. Caution is out near the rear of the field in turn 3. It's Ed Robertson with a bumper from someone. Maybe Alex Bryson's rear bumper. At least on my screen, it was stuck in his grill. And I think I don't think Nowicki was in that one.
I saw a few more cars involved in this, so it might have actually happened. Oh, see the.
Oh, it's up ahead.
Yeah, it's the 87 of McKinney that kind of triggered the whole thing.
Well, he was turned early into the corner.
The 6 and the 38 behind him. And I think he might have come across the road though. I have to look at this from above.
Let me see, Hunter. I think McKinney needs to get to the inside, at least he thinks so. He tries to do it late. That's just too late of a move to do, and poor Alex Bryson and Ed Robertson nowhere to go.
Yeah, they're trying to stop the bleeding from happening already in the back of the field, as you see the 87 going to make a lunge to the inside. He wasn't quite clear, and then the 6 just tried to send it deep at the same time, so unfortunate timing there, and then Bryson gets in it, the 64 Ed Robertson gets in, and then Nowicki, it was like a lost stepchild that just walked in at the wrong place at the wrong time, just in the grass.
Just trying to dodge and weave around it, but yeah, that was penalty on the 87. Was the 6 alongside him? No, but you're turning in really early, and I think you got a rule that we have in grid life is this doesn't apply to oval racing, but just something that's worth noting. If you can reasonably expect someone to get to your inside, leave them the space. And I guess that's more of a self-preservation technique, that you can reasonably expect that the 6 was going to be there on the inside and cut across early. Wouldn't really have considered that a block, but it's a self-policing policy, Connor.
It's kind of like how you race Martinsville when you're trying to desperately get to the bottom. If you have a hole, if you get clear of someone, you can't wait until the entry to the corner. You have to do that almost halfway down the straightaway, and you really have to pull almost all the way to the left at Martinsville to protect that lane. You might still get the bumper, but that's a much better way to do that, to protect your inside line, than doing that at the end of a corner. That's kind of how I compare that. If Blaze McKinney was going to do that, he was clear. He had to do it halfway down the back, really before that opening on the high side down the back straightaway. He was too late with it. He really only did it to the entry of the corner when they were both coming into the braking zone, so just a little too late. And I do agree that was probably more on him than anyone else.
Travis Beckner, fresh off a win at Sonoma Raceway last week, still buried pretty deep in the points, but has some momentum on his side. And Jay Rebe helping us out. Swedish Sugar Dream Cookies.
I've never heard that in my life.
I don't know. I haven't heard the dream part, but I knew that they were Swedish. I'm not sure that they're Swedish, but that's what they call them.
The only thing I know that's Swedish is fish.
That too, yes. What about Swedish fish, those Swedish cookies? That would be a combo.
That sure would. All right.
Not a good one.
No, probably not. At least not for your heart. But here we go. Green flag, and Beckner's gone again. He's been nailing those restarts on the outside and leaving the rest of the field to battle amongst themselves for second.
Now Philip Groner is going to be the one stuck to the outside, or we'll see if he's stuck. You can see just not enough drive off of 2 for that higher line, as he's going to try to pinch the 14 of Okrezik down, but won't work. Okrezik's clear. Jake Nichols still trying to gain back from that restart, trying to follow through, but Groner got a good run off of turn number 4. Has plenty of action throughout the field as Beckner once again tries to drive away.
And more guys starting to get more comfortable with setting in a little bit on that outside lane to get the run off the corner, and Seeing just that throughout the field as, hello, we got 3 wide racing off turn 4. That's steering to the inside. Furness was in the middle and Miller was to the outside, but he got by both.
Lots of accordion effect there. See the 15 of Alex Bell get right to the quarter panel of the 78. Here's Nichols on teammate Groner down into 3. And Darian on Furness. There are a lot of big lunges back here as, again, they sense opportunity. And, yeah, we're still 110 laps to go, but they click by pretty quick, don't they, Connor?
It almost is starting to look like Martinsville. Everyone's really fighting harder and harder for the bottom the more they see how it's racing. But saying that, we are still 2 by 2. It's just so difficult for these drivers to get to the bottom. Philip Groner is still kind of fading. He's really the last one on the outside trying to hold off Trey Eitzen. Mitchell had a big wiggle, but he kept it straight. Then Pierce is going to pull out of line. I guess letting Braxton DeWeese on fresher tires.
Spin.
Oh, spin. There's Mitchell.
And
no yellow yet.
Well, it's...
Oh, look out!
Oh, man.
Ooh, I can't believe that wasn't.
That's going to cost a lot of people track position on the racetrack. I don't know how they kept it straight. That was definitely a crash. Didn't come out.
That was right in front of the 13 of DeWeese. He was almost caught up in that, so he's going to lose some time there. The 18 of Fambro lost some time as well. Going to have to make up a lot of ground from all the way deep in, what's spot is he? Is that
P19 at the moment.
P19?
And he had the front end kind of punched in on that 18 car as well. You see the damage there. And I'm not sure how much, Connor, you experienced this, I think on Monday. And the damage here probably isn't as big of a deal as it would be other places.
No, but it will still affect the handling as Eitzen and Miller just had some contact in turns number 3 and 4. That's going to be incredibly tight. We'll see how that develops as Miller's fighting them off. But it depends on damage. If it's right front damage, as, oh, Eitzen's getting the bumper again from Miller. But yeah, it'll tighten the car up a little bit depending on the damage. It really just depends on where your damage is.
Eitzen looked loose like a goose there through 1 and 2. Miller's going to jump up to the outside. We got almost 3 wide action with the same cars, not too many laps ago, but Darian working his way through the top 10. Going to slide into Jeremy Miller. Going to keep that car straight. I don't know how they're getting away with it.
Well, they might not. Here comes 78 of John Forbes Jr. to the inside. And they sense a weakness. They pounce on it so quickly. And Connor, you mentioned it. It's like Martinsville. It's like as soon as you get someone up out of the groove, everybody pounces because they all see that limping gazelle. They all want to pounce at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly what's still happening. Everyone is trying to do the same thing. Once one person opens that door, everyone drives very, very hard trying to fill that gap. That's still happening with a number of drivers. Zach Nichols just got by Colin Fambro, but Fambro almost got to the inside, but Bronson Stafford filled that gap just as soon as we saw it. Zachary Carlax Weaver go to battle as that mini wreck has kind of spread things out further back, but still pretty packed up at the front. Miller's back to Trey Eitzen's rear bumper. I fear how this might go down. We'll just have to wait and see.
And it's been over 70 laps, but we've finally seen the 7th guy really crack the top 10 after having to start in the back with that EOL from Sonoma last week. And is outside the top 20 in points, so needing a good run to get back inside and remain playoff eligible.
Alex Bell on the outside of Zach Carr, and that's the 78 of John Forbes Jr. Battle going on there, just outside of the top 10. And Miller trying the upper groove on the 22 of Eitzen, puts him to driver's left. 100 laps to go.
That really shows me something. That's one of the few passes I've seen around the outside so far. He drove onto Eitzen's right rear and was able to get a good run off the corner. It's not what we've really seen all night, and that puts him up to 6th. So that will show some other drivers something that it might be ready to race up there. As looked like Darian tried it a little bit there, but I think most drivers are still prancing around the inside line as pretty single file, or pretty spread out, I should say, with the top 5.
Got to go back to John Forbes Jr. and it's another 609 car, I believe, to the inside. They're side by side for position. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright's starting to make the climb up as well. He had a start in the back from an EOL. Up to 16th, trying to stay around stay ahead of the 84 of Shane Abbey.
Shane's running the rim down there into turns 1 and 2. Look, it might be paying off for him here. It's tricky to run that outside because it's such a short racetrack and it's so wide that the outside groove is a lot longer. So yeah, you can carry more speed because you're turning less radius, but covering so much more distance and you don't have that banking to lean on. So if you slip, you go straight into the wall. And a lot of marbles and dirt and debris up there from all the chaos that's happened up to this point. But he cleared the 48 for a moment.
Oh, big wiggle from Jeff Wright. And that really stacked the bottom line up back there. He's still collecting it once he gets to the start-finish line. He is struggling with the right rear.
Zach Nichols got the Bronson Stafford right there in the 61. Unfortunately, they kept it going straight. Meanwhile, just outside the top 5, John Furness and Trey Eidson battling for the 7th position, with Furness going to get the better of that for now. And Darian still looking to the inside of Eidson for 8th.
Yeah, the 22 is beginning to fade. He was up to about 3rd or 4th place. Now is dropping backwards here as the aggression picks up on others around him. Curious what that 7 car can do if he gets up in this top 5. I think there's still some strategy to play out as far as pit stops here. We've run probably long enough now that if we get another yellow soon, you would think about maybe coming to pit lane and getting 4 Mr. Feelgoods put on this thing for the tail end of the race.
I was about to say the same thing. I think we have gone long enough till we see a yellow, people will pit. I still don't expect 2 tires, especially with how loose everyone looks. Travis Beckner's actually sliding a little bit into turn 1 as we speak, but he still keeps a decent lead over Okrezik, but the 14 has closed in a little bit.
3 car lengths separating the 27 and the 14. About 5/10 quicker that last time by Okrezik was than Travis Beckner, as he is really reeled into the bumper, Kyle.
Yeah, it's starting to get close for sure, and we've got a lot of lap traffic up on the horizon as well. That could play into Okrezik's hands if they can catch him before they get another yellow flag. He's a little faster, but then you have to figure out how to get around him, and at a short track with 90 laps to go, Connor, I wouldn't pull everything out of the sleeve just yet. I would take my time and be a bit patient with it.
No problem using the bumper if we get blocked, that's for sure, but Beckner hasn't really done that yet because Okrezik really hasn't had a look really at all. He, I believe, won the pole. I'm not even sure if he's led a lap as driver's door banging in the background, so it's going to be tough to set this pass up running in his air. It still makes a difference at a track this small with the air and dirty air the way it is. He was a little slower that time by once he got closer to Beckner's rear bumper, so he's going to have to maybe try starting to look at different lines maybe later in the race. Like you said, you probably don't want to show your hand right now trying different lines, but later in the race you might have to start thinking about it. As look at the battle of Brody Falliker. He's kind of been struggling tonight with grip. He's back 22nd, right in front of Cedric Hunter.
And behind them, you got...
Oh, spin, turn 1.
Oh,
Shane Abbey is in the wall. Caution out. It was a multi-car accident. We just didn't catch the beginning of it. Off the bumper of the 44 into turn 1. Looked like there was a bit of a squeeze happening. So we'll have to go back a little bit further and find out how this sort of came to be.
See 84 on the bottom, kind of gets loose and kind of just squeezes Zach Nichols into a wall. I don't think the Canes mobile could do anything.
I think the 44 just got put in a tough spot there, I think.
All the leaders do pit, by the way, so really no drama there. Yeah, he's got no room to go up.
He tried to back out too, but I think you can hear him hesitate, like he wasn't sure if he should stay in it to get more alongside or if he should bail out of it. I mean, bailing might have saved it, but I don't think that was his responsibility, so we'll see what happens as everyone hits pit lane. And this is that pit stop, Connor, that we were expecting. I don't think I would pit from here on out. I think this is your last stop, unless we get another 30 or 40 lap run. And Beckner, I think
he still got it.
Yeah, he did. And Okrezik, Nichols, Groner, the rest of the field. Now, 3 drivers stayed out, Cedric Hunter, Anna Sogak, and Grant. I can't say I disagree with this idea. Just in case. Well, okay, never mind. I do disagree with it. What a terrible strategy.
But yeah, this could very well be the final pit stop, no doubt, even if we do get a long run. But we'll just have to wait and see as Ed Robertson gets trapped a lap down, as does the 3. But yeah, it's going to be an important restart here to get in front of the 14. It looked like Okrezik had more long run speed. Maybe Jake Nichols was saving a little harder, but it didn't quite look like he was getting up there. 27 and 14 very fast on different ends of the run.
Add some life to the party this summer with Elite Entertainment. Located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, which is music bingo, and more. Visit Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info. That's Linktree/Elite Entertainment LLC for all contact info for Elite Entertainment. 91 laps complete and 175 total means we've got a pretty good portion of this race out of the way. the favorites have definitely filtered to the top, Connor, and despite lots of drivers moving their way forward, it does seem like our top 5 has been pretty consistent between Beckner, Okresic, Nichols, Groner, and Bell.
They've all had sniffs of the lead in the top 3 with Okresic on pole. Nichols took it early, then Beckner on a restart with slower tires in front got the lead away, and he's led ever since. We still haven't seen all of Matthew Bell, I don't think. Jeremy Miller in 6th. Ernest Therian, Scioli's up to 9th. Zachary Carr's all the way back up to 11th as well. So a very fast 97, even with the damage. There's a number of drivers who can still compete for this win, but it's all about track position as the peanut gallery looks on. This will be an important restart. This could be the yellow that sets things wild. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, still waiting on the 7 of Scioli to show up. It took him 70 laps again to the top 10, but once he's there, Kyle, you don't know what can happen. You can just drive through the field and find some grip. Now he's got better track position.
Field comes into the restart zone here. Pace cars off lap 93 here at North Wilkesboro. It's Travis Beckner on the outside lane, and we're back underway once again at North Wilkesboro.
Spin!
81
Caution.
goes around at turn 1. And I think...
Look out.
Nowicki got shived in the 81, and it was, I was going to say, it was a pretty frantic run down there. I think we have some assistance. Oh, he just got in there hot underneath Casey Lakatos and spun out.
Colin Fambro had nowhere to go because of it.
And then Nowicki again, like the stepchild, walks in, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, just charging in there really hard, and gosh, nothing you can do it if you're in Fambro's position. You can't just hit the brakes and stop. You have to kind of threshold brake to get everything wound down, and that's really hard to do mid-corner. Hunter, as we get to lap number 95 now. So this will give everyone a chance to just get a heat cycle on those tires, get themselves prepped here, and the penalty points for the number 81. Now, Hunter, let's go back and look at the issue that we saw on lap 87. 67. That was Greg Mitchell. And let's go back and see what happened here with this kind of wreck that split the field up.
Yeah, so he's kind of in a pickle here, and then just gets in a little bit too deep into the 84 of Abbey. Jeff Wright doesn't help as well, but boy, that was such a close call for the 13 of Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, it looked like he just got down in here into 1 and 2. He sees the 40 underneath him, just kind of gets squeezed. And I think that was just sort of, to me, that was just a racing incident, Connor, but it's the incident on lap 67 that we saw. Just a lot of cars trying to occupy one place.
Yeah, I am surprised the 2 got 1 for that, or at least allegedly. They'll review after the race. That's just kind of a placeholder that they put. But that just seemed like racing 3 wide at a short track. Almost think you kind of got to let that go. But I thought that was going to be really bad. We saw a wreck like that on Tuesday night where the 1 of Seth Knoll got kind of reared into the field. I thought that's what was going to happen to the 48, but he was able to save it. And we got a pretty good run after that, as we'll get another restart close to lap 100.
How are our picks doing here? Hunter, who'd you pick?
I picked Jake Nichols, and he is still inside the top 5.
4th. Connor, who'd you have?
Zachary Carr, even though he's spun, he's back up to 10th.
Well, I had Justin Munsell. He was doing well until he had that issue earlier in the race. He's putting fresh tires on right now. Scored 30th, so we'll see if his pace can save me. Thankfully, I don't think Michael Curran's calculating points for this series like he is for the Cup side, and Finian keeps skirting away with it. I don't know how he's been getting away with the picks he's been getting.
Who'd he pick on Monday?
Seth Knoll, because I didn't pick him for the first time in several weeks, and it's not working out for me not picking the one.
It's not working out for a lot of people on Monday. It's almost alternating at this point when he wins every other week.
He broke that streak by winning 2 in a row, so...
Yeah, no, we did talk about that.
Ask me how unwise it was not to pick him again.
Beckner might make us look unwise if he can hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really anticipate him being this much of an overdog here, but let's see if he can hang on for another 77 laps. Another great restart, and Beckner leads the field into turn 1.
Topside just looks more of an advantage for the race leader than it did all the other nights, at least on the restart for the race leader, as they go 3 wide in the background with Carr, Miller, and Matthew Bell all the way to the bottom of the racetrack as Jake Nichols looks for second. Tight squeeze out of the corner. as they will stay 3 wide into turn number 1. Not quite. Miller clears the 43 as Jake Nichols almost clear of Connor Okrezik.
Yeah, they made it work in the back with the 3 wide move, and then Furness going to get a little tap from behind. That's Zachary Carr in the 97 poking his nose in. Meanwhile, Nichols does clear Okrezik for that second spot. Shane Therrien looking to the outside, trying to get clear of Philip Groner for 4th.
I'm really impressed that the 97 got that thing slowed down with the locked up tire. It's very hard to unlock a wheel once you get it to that skidding state, but managed it pretty well, and we all stay straight.
That was also like Martinsville. What happened there, he got such a run on Miller, he got a hold of the inside, filled it immediately, but it was so late that he had to really jam the brakes to slow it down. That was exactly how Martinsville works, trying to get to the bottom, and it almost caused a crash, but Furness kept the rear tires under him just enough as he and Therrien go side by side for 5th. As Carr's past teammate Jeremy Miller, Jake Nichols has gotten 2nd.
Contact! Wow, contact maybe the 28 to 9. It almost ended bad in turn 1 there, right in front of Zachary Carr and Jeremy Miller. This fight for 5th still heating up into turn 3.
I think the 28 is making deeper and deeper lunges just to try to keep the overlap. A big skid there, center corner. That's going to allow Carr to get a run. Eitzen chases his car out of 4.
It's so tough when you get loose out of 4, as he's still sliding the 22, but he kept it straight. As Ed Robertson ducks out of the way best he can, but when you slide out of 4, you don't have time to gather it up. You need to be pretty high on the racetrack to get a good arc, and if you are on the flat after sliding the rears into 1, you're going to slide again, just like he did, as Therrien and Carr side by side now for what is 6th.
Well, Shane Abbey did about the same thing in front of Cedric Hunter in the 70. It's the field trying to navigate their way through the lap car of Ed Robertson, who's settled right in the middle of this pack, and still got some side-by-side action as Therrien's cleared Furness for 5th. Now Carr looking to get around Furness for the 6th spot. And there's that battle right where the lap car of Ed Robertson is.
Yeah, it's making things pretty spicy back here. The 13 of DeWeese is in this mix. The 44 of Nichols, Falliker.
Sorry, Carr got the boot from Furness that just like Carr gave to the 28 up at the front. Zach Carr made the move for the position in the 6th, but Furness gave him the bumper saying, hey, I didn't appreciate that. As Miller stuck to the top, Alex Weaver just had a slide in the background, kept it straight. As the 97, so close to re-clearing the 28 at the front. As, wow, big dive from the 48. We haven't seen much of Jeff Wright quite yet, as Carr is clear for 6th at the front.
Big dive to the inside from the 48, big dive on the outside from the 84 as started getting the closing stages of this race, Kyle, and still the aggression level rising.
Yeah, it's really dicey back here. I think it's only a matter of time as Falliker gets put middle 3 wide. Look at the 84 of Shane Abbey absolutely riding the rim here. It's a dangerous place to be, though, because you can create and eliminate overlap very fast. Sometimes people don't see it coming.
Yeah, it's definitely dangerous. You won't see that driver on the outside if you're not exactly paying attention. So we'll see if he tries to continue that climb through the field, trying that higher line.
It's like turning into a bike lane on a right-hand corner. Like, you know there could be a biker there, but you just don't always check. And sometimes there is, and that's when you end up with Calamity Hunter.
Yeah, especially on a short track like this, Calamity is expected. We've seen a good bit tonight, but not as much as Monday night, at least not yet. We still have 65 laps left in this race, but yeah, for the most part, it's been fine as that's one car blinking in and out. Meanwhile, Okrezik still launched on the bumper of Jake Nichols in the 73 for 2nd.
Now, this 14 has been fast all night long. He sat on the pole of this race. Has been up in the top 5 for most of the night. But he's going to have to beat 2 very fast drivers and those that have a lot of experience ahead of him to win this race. And they're running out of laps, Connor. The last 60 or so laps are coming their way, and they're going to click off in under 20 seconds apiece, which means about 20 minutes of racing if it stays green.
Whoa, John Forbes just had a big slide in front of Scioli, but yeah, this will be a long run. If we do get a long run here, as 7 looks to be inside on his teammate, if we get another long run here, if we get close to the end, if a yellow falls, that would really make things interesting. We could see drivers experiment with strategy because we see how track position is. Everyone's taking 4 tires to this point, but that could change if we get a late restart with not too many laps to go. We'll just have to wait and see as Forbes and Scioli still going side by side, and Braxton DeWeese still recovering from being off strategy. 13's up to the 13th position.
Methodically working his way towards the top 10. Trey Eitzen there again, a little squirrely in the middle of 3 and 4. He's in the 12th spot, and trying to settle in nicely as right in front of him, John Forbes Jr. lost that 10th spot to Scioli. So Scioli back in the top 10, still looking to make his way towards the front with 60 to go.
Yeah, time is ticking for sure. Even for Beckner and Nichols up at the front of the field. Last time by, Nichols was a hair quicker, but he's got now distraction in the form of the 14, so he can't just drive out the windshield, Connor, because he's got Connor Okrezik breathing down his neck.
And they ran almost identical laps, second and third position, and they were maybe a touch faster than the 27, but not enough to gain on him a big amount, I should say. So they were slower that up. Oh, spin right in front of the leaders. That is Ryan Nowicki. And he resets, and that was somehow not a caution. Gosh, that was almost really bad.
I think it was just below the racing surface to where it wouldn't trigger yellow, but...
Oh, he just walked it in there a little hot.
Similar to what he did in 3 and 4.
He had the center line on the grass, which was just enough to save from being a yellow flag. That had to spook Beckner a little.
Spooked all of them because he didn't reset until the top 5 went by him. That kind of did let Jake Nichols pull a little bit closer, but not close enough to battle as we see a battle further back. Trey Eitzen once again kind of falling a little bit. He's back to the 15th position now, 16th I should say, as Jeff Wright gets around the inside, as Lakatos is going to follow through. Just no grip in that 22.
Yeah, it's kind of faded away as the run's gone on, and it's just long for the ride as it passes. They're just trying to make sure that he doesn't get in harm's way, but still trying to limit the bleeding.
Big lunch, I think it was a 61, a Stafford into turn 1 on Trey Eitzen. Up front, though, things are beginning to close again. Beckner's lost about half of that advantage to Jake Nichols. It's only 3.5 tenths now.
I really do think he lost a lot of that, but getting spooked by Nowicki, being the first one to be seen in a situation like that is never cool at all, as he's really trying to focus up. He was only 300th slower than the 73 last time by. Pretty similar time to the 14 of Okrezik, as these top 3 have separated themselves all night from the rest of the field. They have over a second on 4th place Philip Groner at this point, as Beckner picked it up. He was over a tenth faster than the 73 that time by.
Starting to dial in, and that's the view that Beckner's seen for the majority of the night. He's been the dominant car all night long, and well, we got some side-by-side action back. It looks like Zachary Carr and John Forbes Jr. battling for 11.
Zach Nichols.
A lot of Zachs.
There are a lot of Zachs.
44 on the outside. The Raising Cane's car passes the Meals on Wheels car. A lot of red food going on. Braxton DeWeese and Alex Bell closing in behind as well. Good battle just outside the top 10 with these guys here. And we're closing down in 50 laps to go, guys. Down to crunch time at a track like North Wilkesboro. And this is one of those moments now where if we get a yellow flag, you can fully expect big sends on every restart. And track position is the name of the game. So if you've got an opportunity to get by someone, I want it now.
And the track temp is definitely going to play into it. A little cooler. It's 94 degrees now, so those fresher tires still make a big difference on a run this long, but maybe not as much as they would have at the beginning of the race, as Okrezik up ahead of this battle, looking to the inside of the 73, and Jake Nichols, I think, just let him have it. I think Nichols is seeing, hey, you're a little faster at this point. Maybe you can chase down Beckner and bring me back into this battle. I think that's the strategy there from the 73.
Not a bad one, as Braxton DeWeese now looks to the inside of John Forbes Jr. for 12th. Saw the 15 of Alex Bell with a lunge all the way on the outside. He's running in 14th, but DeWeese, we mentioned, he's 5th in points with one less race and closing in on the top 10 spot potentially, as he's getting challenged now from Bell.
Man, do you see how close he cut it there with the 15? He just slammed the door shut on corner exit. Bell drops to the bottom for 1 and 2. But tight margins. Just trying to maintain your momentum. If DeWeese goes back to the bottom on Forbes, he'll fight this fight in a different lane.
Yeah, the battle for 4th is tightening up as well as DeWeese and Forbes. Philip Groner has really dropped off the top 3, and Shane Therian is there. Oh, Therian's up the track a little bit, but he kept it straight. But DeWeese and Forbes have been going at it, as I think DeWeese is probably ruining that strategy to stay out on older tires. It has not benefited him, but he is still climbing through the field, trying to get this 12th position, just has not been able to do so.
Kind of fighting a losing battle, but still trying to make his way towards the front. It's been difficult, especially having to work from the back to the front at a track like this, a run like this, where this might be the longest run that we've had so far in the race.
Yeah, 41 laps on this set of tires, but the vast majority of it, we had a yellow at lap 93, so yeah, we're pretty deep into this run now, about 40 laps. And Luis is on the same tire as everyone else, so yeah, the strategy is what put him back, but he doesn't even have a better tire to show for it, which is what put him in this tough spot as Zach Carr and Shane Therian are side by side into turn 3.
Yeah, they're all fighting to see who gets the Groner first. I think the 11's really fading, but Therian has not been able to take advantage. Zachary Carr is back up into the top 5 for the first time since the exit of turn 2. On lap number 1, John Furness has slipped back into the clutches of Jeremy Miller, who had just got by Matthew Bell, but Bell is still right there as Scioli's closed in the top 10. A great, maybe 7-car battle for 4th brewing here as the 97 tries to hunt down his teammate.
I'll say those tie-dye cars from the 609 group, they kind of remind me of a Ford Loco design on the can. I'm not sure why, but
yeah,
the 97 is the Zachary Carr one. The Zachary Carr one really reminds me of Ford Loco can, but nonetheless, it's still fast as he's nearing 4th.
Trouble, Jane Abbey on the inside of turns 1 and 2. He stays down there on the apron, will stay green, but here's how this happened. All on his own, carried too much speed and kind of drives it down the racetrack and out of harm's way.
Just out of harm's way, goodness, these battles are good for 7th and 8th. Miller's trying to get to the outside of John Furness. I'm really shocked the speed Miller has, especially around the outside, a place really no one else is really passing at this point, as Zachary Carr still can't get to the outside of Groner, but Miller's going to get up into the 7th position with that move, and now he'll try to get the 9 of Therian around with the same move.
Yeah, look how much speed he's carrying out there. 43, almost middle 3 wide there with Scioli and Furness on the bottom. Those 609 cars kind of remind me a lot of, what are those, firework pops? You know what I mean?
The bomb pops?
Yeah, that. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's the...
Red, white, and blue?
Well, that could be. The 43 up to the outside of the 28. They're learning about that upper groove, and they're finding it just at the right time.
I think the tires have worn off just enough, Hunter, where we're starting to see the higher line come into play, and more drivers are moving up there to get runs off the corner with their tires, as Carr has gotten to the outside of Philip Groner for the 4th position. 2 teammates go at side by side. Watermelon versus, I guess, orange creamsicle with a little blue mixed in there. And the bomb pop is a little further behind trying to battle Shane Therian.
You can call it that, as the outside lane's starting to become more and more.
Sorry, Hunter, just they're all at the racetrack. It's like they flipped the switch, and now there's grip up there that they're all finding out from watching the 30.
Well, it is that part of the race where you're starting to get to the end where you're trying to find any sort of advantage that you can. And then
Caution.
Higher up. Oh, forget everything I just said.
Justin Adesogak, turn 2. Sorry, that's turn 3.
Stay on the lead lap, you will.
This is going to change a lot, so let's cover this real quick. And I think there was some assistance, maybe from the 6 of Justin Munsell. Back a little further and see how this formulated.
The 88 outside.
I think Munsell just tagged him and sent him up into the concrete.
Yeah, that was tough. From that angle, it looked like the 6 kind of squeezed the 88. Again, Sogak did hit the wall, though, so maybe he comes down a touch. I don't think Munsell's trying to do that. That'll be tough to see how that's played as pit stops are underway. Everyone comes down.
No surprise there, as you get another look at the caution. After about 50 laps or so, we finally get pit stops, and guys can take a breath of fresh air and put on some new tires.
Well, it's about to get really interesting on pit exit here. Will anybody grab a spot on pit lane? The 7 leaves pit road first. 2-tire call for James Scioli.
That's an interesting one. He's a lone man on that strategy, and that will really mix the restart up with Beckner not being in control like he has been for so long. Okrezek got out of pit road 2nd, then Nichols, and then Carr, then Groner, and Miller in 6th. So I don't disagree with it. You know you're probably not going to win the race taking 4 tires. So this is the move that the 7 felt like he had to make. But more interesting than that, Justin Munsell might be staying out.
Got to change something up, especially with the way the race has been going for Justin Munsell. Was good in the early stages, but it's just been caught up in collision after collision and near collisions, so got to switch something up. And especially the 7 of Skyler, he had to start all the way in the back, and it took him 70 laps to get inside the top 10. Kind of been stagnant there, so trying to switch something up as Ed Robertson comes down pit road. But I don't mind the 2-tire call from Skyler. I do mind the call from Munsell for staying out, because older tires, regardless, going to be much more of a disadvantage. But you got to switch something up, Kyle.
Well, I know he's my pick, but I'm going to make my case for this call anyway. Munsell was not going to win doing what he was doing, and we only have 30-something laps to go, which means there's a high possibility that we could just get drivers driving in on restarts, causing some yellows and burning some laps, which in Munsell's case would only help. So I think otherwise he's stuck outside the top 15, Connor. So yeah, it's an absolutely huge risk. It probably won't pay off, but there is a possibility that it could, and I'm all in on that.
With how quick the laps click off, it's all about maintaining for him. He was 22nd position when the yellow flew, so if he can finish anywhere above that, I think he would take it. But if it goes green, he's in trouble. If he gets those cautions breeding cautions, I think that's when he might be in a good spot. But Skyler on 2 tires, we'll see if he can get there to turn 1 first.
Check out the High Banks podcast. Just 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 205 with Brad Slaughter. And the new episode with Jacob Bell is on Spotify as well. So check them out, Spotify, High Banks podcast, as we get set to go racing on the restart here at North Wilkesboro. It is about time to race to the end here at this 6/10 mile short track. The 6 car goes, but here comes the 27 on the bottom of the racetrack. He wants to go, and he wants to go now. Huge send into turn 1. The 6 goes up the hill.
7's up the track. They're stacking up in the middle. Cars loose. Miller's loose. Miller's in the wall. Big crash down the back straightaway. Caution is out.
They might have to look at that restart. I'm not sure if the 27 just had a perfect launch or if he went before the leader, but there's the peanut gallery going crazy in the Mickey Mouse room.
Wow. Let's see how it all cycles out. Some big hitters taken out in that one. Let's go back and look at this, guys. Travis Beckner was already ready to go on the restart. Here it is from high above. Connor, you tell me what you see here.
I see 7's trying to game it a little bit. 27's laying back with just as much as the 14, and he kind of does throttle up before the 7, but also Skyley's a little laid back there, and the contact's not caused by Beckner. Skyley's just up the track into the 6. Then a 7 getting slid up in front of the 14 is what checks things up, and then it just all stacks up. 43, 28, so many drivers involved in that one. And yeah, that'll be interesting how they rule that. It's iRacing rules, so it's tough to say you can really penalize a 27 for that.
From my perspective, I didn't see him go early. It looked like he went basically with the leader, but what happened down at 1 is everyone just got piled in there, running way up the track, big stack-ups in the center behind the 7, and then from there it's just an accordion effect, like a jackknifing semi. Just one car goes left, one car goes right, and then at this point no one can see anything. You're just piled in. I think, does Braxton DeWeese get through? He does. And he's going to end up, well, he's scored 12th now, but what a mess out of turn 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, a mess. And it all starts with the 7 coming up in front of Okresic, and it stacked up the entire line. And Jeremy Miller was unfortunately the one who got popped maybe the hardest. It's a lot of top 10 drivers like Furness, Bell, Miller, all crashed very late in this race because of it. It's going to get a lot of drivers into the top 10 that really needed it, or that really, like John Forbes, Alex Bell's close up there, and it's really flipped the order a little bit. Skyler's now 3rd on 2 tires. Okresic's back to 4th. Justin Munsell will stay in 5th, but Beckner got the lead back like he needed.
Yeah, well, I got to give kudos to Beckner, because from the initial angle of the live feed, it looked like he made a jump to the inside just way too early, like he went before the leaders did, but just perfect timing on his part, and he was able to boot skew and boogie on by.
Yeah, look again from the high side here and watch the 7. I think the perception of this is changed by what the 7 was doing, but watch the 6 and the 27. They go at what to me looks like the same time. Right about there. Maybe the slightest bit soon, but again, I don't know that it's going to register enough to do anything. He just gets a great restart. And then this moved down into 1. Watch this. I mean, he went down here fully expecting to clear everybody, and he did just that.
Oh, look at Jake Nichols. He almost got to his inside. How different it could have been if it went green, but wasn't to be the case. Now the 73 will restart on the bottom, but he has not had anything for Beckner on the short run. That's exactly what we got coming up. We got to watch the 7 and 6. They're still on different tires here.
25 laps to go at North Wilkesboro. Beckner, Nichols side by side into the restart zone. Beckner's gone.
But Nichols is able to stay in front of Okresic. Saying that, Okresic really sent it to get to the right rear of Jake Nichols, and Jake Nichols is still right on the bumper of Beckner, but he got sideways off the corner trying to stay right with the 27 as they're 3 wide almost with Zachary Carr on the inside.
Beckner trying to scoot away. Whoa, he's really high up in turn.
Crash. Lots of Stafford.
Here we go.
Stafford, Pierce, Hunter, and a Sogak, the 5, the 84. What we expected.
I mean, when that yellow came out at, what was it, lap 145, 140, 139. This is what can happen. And here's a look at how this kind of, where the genesis of this is. See the 6 get moved here. And see the 15, the 61, they all get checked up. And right here, and again, it's just everyone piling in because you just can't stop. It's like Bristol, right? You know, a place like Talladega, a crash happens. You've got time to slow down here. One end of the racetrack to the other is 7-8 seconds. You just don't have time to get the thing stopped. It all happens so quick.
True, but Shane Abbey was pretty far behind that. And a lot of drivers wrecked pretty far after the initial contact happened. So we'll get a view.
Cedric Hunter.
Just happens in front of him. There's just nowhere to go. Just has to stop and hope for the best, and just all came right to his rear bumper.
Scott Shy was trying to monster truck that 70.
On board the 84. I just don't know that he could even really see this happening. Yeah.
Oh, he got piled in. I think Ryan Nardone was behind him. I think that's where the 84 got piled in, so apologies to Shane Abbey. I don't think it was him who really piled in there hard.
Either way, he's going to join the cars on the pit lane that are receiving damage repair. Ed Robertson, Miller, Bryson, Nowicki, and Moore. The only 2 drivers that are officially out of this race, Blaze McKinney and Ryan Hartz. Everyone else is at least trying to fix damage. Maybe Nowicki has called it a night. He's been on pit lane for about 16 minutes.
I don't know if Jeremy Miller is going to get back on track either. But yeah, it's been not too much attrition until these last 30 laps when this restart kicked off. But one thing I saw that was interesting there, that was probably the best jump second place has gotten from the bottom line. Jake Nichols almost stayed on the rear bumper of Travis Beckner, but he tried throttling up so hard to stay with him. He got very sideways and almost lost second position to the 14. So we'll see if he can do that once again without the slide out of 2, because that's probably his best chance to get this lead.
Well, it has been a little spicy tonight. Lately it's been on the restarts, almost as spicy as Rick's Hot Sauce. Head on over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. You can try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Check out rickshotsauce.com. Got to try myself that Palm Beach Pineapple. I am a sucker for sweet and spicy together.
Makes one of us.
Really?
Or maybe 2. I don't know.
You're not a sweet and spicy guy?
No, I just like spice. Really? Just really hot.
Never been.
I would not try it. It's probably not going to be a first choice of those flavors.
Well, setting up for the restart here. 18 laps to go. And if it wasn't good enough or more entertaining enough for you, you're about to see even crazier restarts with Travis Beckner trying to go 2 for 2 the last couple of weeks. Go from Sonoma all the way back out to the East Coast to North Wilkesboro. Green flag back in the air. 18 to go from the short track here, round 6 of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series.
Oh man, 73 sent it hard in the 1. Almost spooked Beckner a little bit. He gets clear of the 7 of Sky Oldley for a second. He's going to go to the outside trying to get a little run off the top side as Therian gets pushed up the track. Nichols has a run.
Here comes the 73, trying to look to the outside. Going to send it to the inside of turn 1. Go all the way down low. Not going to be enough to get alongside of Beckner. Meanwhile, Scioli fighting for third with Okresic.
I think Nichols knows how critical this is. You have to go and you have to go now. Beckner's been the class of the field tonight in the longer runs, especially with the volatility of what's going on behind him. Connor, this might be one of his last opportunities to get to the bumper of that 27.
He had a good cut off the bottom of turn number 2 there as Okresic fights for third with the 7 of Scioli. I think this is definitely the hardest he's pushed. He's right there on the bumper of Beckner. This is the most he's pressured him, but the caution comes out and ends that battle.
I think they've already cleared it again. I think it was the 2.
Yes.
Ooh, off the bumper of the 28 in a big way, huh?
Are those two not teammates?
Well, they didn't look like him if they were.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Watch this. Either it's a huge miscalculation or these two have had some history tonight.
They are Physicus Motorsports teammates, so I think that I would be surprised if that wasn't a miscommunication here. You see this? This tells the whole story. Boom.
Got Wapatowed in the 3.
On board with Furness.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting the checkup from that on board. He tried to slam on the brakes as late as he could. But he will definitely be getting points for that, I would think. Post-race review.
So, have a look at our race stats so far tonight. We've had 11 yellows for 47 of our 163 laps that we've completed. 5 different leaders, 4 lead changes. But as of late, Travis Beckner has been the dominant force in this one. So far tonight, he has led 125 of the 163 laps. Jake Nichols behind has led 27.
It almost seems like he's just kind of having to learn short run on the fly. He has not pushed very hard until now, and he got really close to the bumper out of 4 right when the yellow flew. But it's all about the restart. He needs to stay in position for this. He cannot let the 7 of Scioli get to his right rear. If he does and gets in a battle for second, he has no chance. But the more important thing, Hunter, what he needs is this needs to go green to the end.
Yeah, or he's going to have to start getting aggressive, which we don't really see that out of Jake Nichols, and he says it himself. He doesn't like to race dirty, he likes to race clean, fair and square. Got close to the bumper a couple of times in that last stint, but that's what it's going to have to take to get around the 27 of Beckner, because with the way he launches on restarts, Kyle, he's gone 2-3 car lengths already.
Keep your eyes on the 14, and I think especially the 7, who's going to restart behind 27 should Beckner choose the outside, which I think he's going to. And remember the history that Beckner has had with some of these drivers, Connor. That's got to factor in. It's a short track. If you're going to make an enemy this season, it would not be weird to do it here, would it?
Well, remember Bristol last season, the little bit of a boot scoop boogie he did to the 9 of Theory, and Theory is not really in position for anything, but who remembers how many times the 7 and 27 came together. I think if Scioli got a better initial restart on 2 tires, maybe it would have been a different story, but I don't think you'll have anything to do with the 27 here. Got to be a good restart from Nichols here.
Green flag, 10 laps to go from North Wilkesboro. Not a bad restart, not a phenomenal one either. It might let the 7 get to the outside. Caution. And 2 cars torn up at turn 1. It's the 44 and the 88. Zach Nichols might call it a night there.
Let's see.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's the same exact thing.
He just drove in there. He was trying to delete the 88, but he actually wrapped himself up in it, too.
Yeah, another miscalculation, I would say. Probably didn't think 88 would break that early.
You can't drive that deep this late, though, right? With all those cars in it?
No, it's still his fault, but I just don't see a reason why he would do that on purpose.
Oh, man, Carter Crew cracking me up in the background. Sending the 88 like an envelope.
And that is exactly, Hunter, what Jake Nichols doesn't want.
Yeah, that's not going to make it any easier for him, especially with the way he went on that last restart. That outside lane, whoever's second in line, and that time it was Scioli, they almost get as good of a launch as the 27 of Beckner, and almost puts them in an interesting position. But Scully went up to third because of that, and if Beckner chooses the outside lane again, that advantage is going to go to Connor Okrezik. So I'm not sure if that's going to benefit Beckner at all or not benefit him.
Well, race fans, why don't you check out shop.areairacing.com for high-quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's the shop.areairacing.com promise. And as I mentioned the other day, champion brand clothing originated in Rochester, New York, where I hail from. Small world out there, huh? But shop.areairacing.com. Travis Beckner is just 6 laps away, maybe 5 laps away by the restart from picking up his second victory on the season. And Connor, for Travis, this would be a big help for him. He started 4 races, but his season has not gone to plan thus far. His first 3 finishes all outside the top 30, and then he wins at Sonoma. So if he could turn it around with another win here, championship contender unlocked with all those bonus points he'll be getting.
Kept really getting unlucky earlier in the season, and not just in the Pro Series, really all 3 series that he's been running. He's just not been getting a lot of luck. He's been caught up in a lot of accidents not of his doing, but it only takes one big race to turn things around. He got Century United Motorsports' first win last week. They could be looking for 2 in a row just like that if the restarts go their way, as Brad Slaughter has some new accessories for the end of this race. It's gotten a little chilly, but Beckner's on a roll right now, and it's going to be no surprise when he's further up in the points. He's 36 coming into tonight, and he jumped 12 positions last week. He could jump even more.
Yeah, shout out to the Peanut Gallery down in Florida. They're going to be in Daytona for tomorrow and Saturday night's festivities for NASCAR. But we still have festivities to wrap up here in North Wilkesboro.
Sure do. And it involves 4 laps worth of racing. If we get another yellow, we will go into overtime. Travis Beckner on the outside. Green flag back underway in North Wilkesboro and clicking down the last few miles of action from the short track.
That is not what Jake Nichols needed. Okrezik got to his right rear, and that might be all Travis Beckner might need if they can get side by side for second, as Okrezik has that run out of
Crash
turn
behind him,
number.
the 18's in the wall. Fambro hard in the fence, and he's going to keep getting collected as we rocket off into turn 3, and see the dramas in the Peanut Gallery as Fambro goes around for a loop. They can't believe what they've seen. Some seem like they're celebrating, others in shock.
Some people might have had the over. Some people might have had the over on cautions in this race.
Let's see, Fambro inside of the 6. And it looked like Munsell looked for the middle and it wasn't there. And then 1888, 61.
Oh, look at this
How
again.
it goes. Right there, you see Munsell sees a gap, it closes, and he can't back out in time. There was net code to there, but definitely tight.
A tough one for me. The 18 moves up. I think he expected Munsell to tuck in behind the 5, so the 18 kind of tracks up. Up. And because the 6 stops tracking out, but he was still trying to find overlap there, so that's a tough squeeze there, unfortunately. But we are going to be in overtime now. This race scheduled for 175 laps. We'll do just shy of 180. And this is everything that Travis Beckner wanted, Connor. As you pointed out a few times, he really just needs the advantage of the restart because no one can touch him if he keeps getting the launches he's had.
All it needs. It's funny how he found something off the top side, and really no one did the top line consistently until this race, but it is surprising it didn't happen because you're kind of going a little downhill once you get over that hump on the exit of turn number 4. So it does provide, I think, a much better run into turn number 1 by doing that. So I'm just shocked no leader did it earlier than tonight, and it's worked out for Beckner. And with the 14 being in 4th last restart, it helped him get away from Jake Nichols because they went side by side for second. Now Philip Groner's going to be in that 4th position. We'll see what type of jump he gets.
Like a revolving door to see who's going to be 4th and restart on that outside lane. One restart it was Scioli, last one it was Okrezik. This one is going to be Philip Groner. But will it be the last time we get a restart? Oh, there's a floating man at North Wilkesboro.
I was telling you on Tuesday.
I didn't see it on Tuesday, but there sure is someone floating over there.
I told you.
Cut to the Peanut Gallery. Cut to the Peanut Gallery.
Where are they?
Same place they always are.
Is one of them missing? Have they teleported into iRacing?
I noticed that months ago, and I was really confused. I don't know how that happens.
Well, it's one of those things. I think, what track, what's that French track that got released? Not Mazzano, that's Italian. Magny-Cours. So when that track got released, there was a floating tire bundle that was like clearly in plain sight of the scenic cameras, and it blew my mind that could go. I still don't think it's fixed. It blew my mind that could go so long without being fixed, because I mean, I know their process for the most part would not take that long to fix that, and surely they've seen it, but who knows? All right, 2 laps to go. First attempt at the green-white checker of 3 that we have. Beckner and Nichols are your 2 race leaders. Green flag, 2 laps to go. 1.2 miles left at North Wilkesboro.
And Jake Nichols got clear of Philip Groner, so he's got a shot here if they can make it 2 laps. He got close to the bumper of the 27. He'll charge again in the turn number 3.
Going to send it down into 3 and 4. It's as close as he's been all night long to Travis Beckner, but the white flag's waving. We are going to finish this. 1 more lap from North Wilkesboro.
Can Jake Nichols get there on this final lap? He's going to drive down into turns 1 and 2. Travis Beckner has had a horrible start to the season. There's a wreck behind him. No issue for Travis Beckner. 1 week he goes to Sonoma. Nichols up the racetrack. He can't get there. Travis Beckner is going to go 2 weeks in a row with a win at North Wilkesboro.
Crash after the finish.
Matthew Bell and Jeff Wright. What a finish. Brett's not a fan, but good restart. And he got off of the corners much better, Beckner did that time compared to most other restarts. He did exactly what he needed to do.
Mr. 2-time this season, Travis Beckner back-to-back wins last week at Sonoma and this week at North Wilkesboro. He can do it all. Road course, short track, don't even matter. That's the 2nd straight win for Central United Motorsports.
From the lefts and rights of wine country to the bull ring here at North Wilkesboro, Travis Beckner picks up his 2nd win on the season, and he'll be celebrating this in a big way in the Hendry County truck. He knows how to do short tracks. Perfect donut.
In good practice, I believe he moves up to tied for 5th all-time with Pro Series win number 4. Tied with Connor Urashak.
Well, let's go back and look at the last moments of that race, because we noted there was a wreck also, but on this restart, Travis Beckner just gets such a good launch, but the 73 of Nichols did all he could do, Connor. I don't know that he could have done much better than this.
No, it's exactly what he needed to do. He needed to get clear of 4th. Maybe he got help from Groner, not quite sure, but he tried diving to the inside right there to spook Beckner off the bottom line, and he did a little bit there and got a good enough run out of 2 to get a lunge into 3, but Beckner painted the line perfectly around the curve. That's really the run that got him out ahead enough from the 73.
Well, she wrote, because that was about as close as Nichols could get to Travis Beckner, and then the next time around they go through 3 and 4. He about washed up, and Garrett Grant washed up and spun out on the back. That's the wreck you were talking about, Connor, and the rest of the field just trying to make their way to the finish. Here's that slide from the 73. Almost lost him 2nd, but was able to come away with it.
Gave it all he had. So did the 43, who got involved in a wreck right at the end, but still grabbed a top 10 in all of that. What a race. There was plenty of exciting moments in that one. Here's a look at your top 10, and Connor, this is going to bode well for Travis in his championship run. Still lots of points to make up from lost opportunities earlier this year, but 2 for 2 at 2 of the most different tracks on the calendar.
Yeah, those are 2 big wins for him, and I'm sure he is ecstatic about it. Jake Nichols tried, just not enough. Philip Groner late charge to 3rd. Okrezik will probably be disappointed with 4th. He ran top 3 most of the race. But how about Zachary Carr? He was wrecked. Lap number 1 all the way up into 5th by the end of the race. And Braxton DeWeese recovered. James Skyerly 7th on 2 tires. Theory and Eitz and Bell even sideways. The 43 got top 10.
And then looking at the rest of the order, my computer's starting to take off like an airplane here. It's starting to get hot. Jeff Wright in the 48 comes through with 11th after having to start from the back. John Forbes Jr., Casey Lacaze, Falliker, Furness, Johnson, Munsell, Hunter, Weaver, and Stafford right out the top 20.
And looking down the rest of the order here, 21st through 30th, Jeremy Miller had such good pace tonight, got involved in a wreck, took him out of the show. A couple other drivers kind of powering through a tough night. Justin Anasogak, Colin Fambro, Alex Bell among those drivers. And then the tail end of the field, Ryan Hart's another disappointing result despite having pace early. Ryan Nowicki had a tough night tonight, and so did Blaze McKinney after having some speed as well. But with that aside, let's talk to your top three. And third place tonight was Philip Groner in the number 11. He comes home in third place in the 11. Philip, brightly colored car tonight. You get a couple of team cars up there in the top 5. Just needed a little bit more. Probably what you needed is some green flag racing. What else do you need to get by those two out front?
Well, Connor and Jake and Travis were definitely way faster than me all night. I kind of stole a third there from Connor. He deserved it more. I just couldn't keep the right rear on it on long runs. Even I was fading towards the end of those runs. So I'm glad the cautions came out when they did. But overall, good team night. We pretty much dominated all 4 cars in the top 10 most of the night. So I'm happy to get out here with third.
You know, those restarts in particular seemed challenging for those kind of on the inside lane. How powerful was it to be in the lane that moved there on the restart? And did you find yourself hoping and praying that you'd be in one lane versus the other?
Yeah, I liked the outside all night. It seemed like the person on the front row and the bottom spun the tires a little bit and it got stacked up. And then it's just fighting from there. So, yeah, I'm glad to be on the top. It's hard to find a hole to get clear after a couple laps, but luckily I had Jake in front of me, so I was able to do that. Yeah, I stole a third.
Phil, congratulations. P3 for the number 11 tonight. Congratulations. We'll talk to you next time.
Appreciate it.
And second place was Jake Nichols in the number 73. Started second, finished second, led some laps tonight, but man, you just were trying everything on those restarts to find some advantage on the 27 and just needed some more laps. Take us through your battle up front with Travis Beckner.
I mean, not much of a battle. It's just not enough time at all the whole night to do anything. Like, you're so trapped with dirty air and we're all so close on pace up front that you put any one of us that were in the top 3 or 4 the whole night out front, and without wrecking the guy out in the lead, you weren't going to pass him. We had a few shots there. The time he made a 3 on James and Munsell, I felt like that was my best shot out of 2. I got underneath them, but I don't know, it's the same guys, same group of people every week that just cause wrecks for no business back in 25th and beyond. But I mean, what are you gonna do about it? You know, I can only drive my race car. I can't drive theirs, but we'll take it. I mean, it was a good night either way. Could have been a more aggressive early, but I'm just not the kind of guy that's gonna be putting everyone in spots to wreck each other for no reason. But either way, great team night for us. Philip stealing third. We had Zach up there in 5th. Jeremy should have got a better finish. It's a shame he didn't get what he should have gotten. I know Justin Anasogak with us got wrecked as well earlier. So other than that, I mean, great night no matter what. It's a little disappointing that you just can't race. I mean, every time a lane opens up or we start making progress, the yellow flies and you have to restart, and it's just a little annoying. But I mean, we'll move on. I love Darlington, so I'm looking forward to next race.
Almost assuredly a favorite next week. Jake Nichols, second place tonight. Thanks for talking.
Thank you.
And Travis Beckner comes home again in the top spot after a fantastic week at Sonoma last week. Travis, you were able to lead well into the hundreds of laps tonight, 142 of 179 laps this evening. The year started so poorly with all 3 of your first 3 races outside of the top 30, but you righted the ship at Sonoma and you carry that momentum into tonight, restart after restart after restart. What was your key to success tonight at North Wilkesboro?
I didn't have too good of a qualifying run, so I was just planning on getting to the front as soon as I possibly could. I'm sorry to Zach Ricard there. That was me making a move, trying to get to the front as quick as possible. And I just too early to do it, and that's my fault 100%. Once again, I'm sorry. My apologies with that. But we had a restart where we had like 6 or 7 cars stay out, and I took Jake Nichols and a few other people 3 wide going down into 1 because I knew if I did that, I could get out in front of them, use the cleaner all the way to the finish and win. So.
Yeah, I mean, going back, we can watch this restart here. I think this was the one where you managed to get such a good launch on your peers. At least I thought this was the restart. But, I mean, when you took this, here it is right here. This launch, I mean, take us through the moments here, because we looked at this time and time again to figure out how you timed this so well. Did you just have to guess when that 6 was going, or was that a reaction that was just lightning quick?
I had no idea where he was going. I could not see where he was, so it was more of a guess than anything. I got very lucky with the guess, but yeah, I went down. Crazy enough, I went down into turn 1 right here and hit the flat, and both my front tires came up off the ground and shot me up the track, and Nichols got underneath me. Got lucky with the caution before we went into turn 3 right here, so sucks that we had that many cautions, but it was still a fun race in the end.
A great race, and talk to me about the momentum you're carrying in now, because with the bad races that you had to start the season, now you've got 2 wins under your belt. Does this change your approach heading into Darlington, where you can be more aggressive now, knowing that you've got a couple of wins, you're in the playoffs now? What's the focus moving forward?
Just getting myself in the top 20 in points so I could get myself in the playoffs. Last I checked, I was 36th in points, so just bad luck at the very beginning of the season. Carrying more momentum now, and just need to keep on carrying it more and more. Happy for the Central United guys, 2nd win ever for them. They are a huge help. They put sessions up every Wednesday night before the race. I tried my best to help them out, and they did really good tonight. I'm happy for Casey. I think he got 15th, I think it was.
13th.
But 13th, yeah, I'm really happy for him. There for a while, he wasn't having fun. He was contemplating on leaving, and he's doing a lot better now, so I'm very happy for him.
Travis Beckner, 2nd win of the season here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Travis, congratulations. Job well done. Well earned, man.
Thank you. Before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Hendry County Motorsports Park, Central Mobile Home and Sheds, Ken Kenny for sponsoring the league and me. Y'all take the time out of your day to come broadcast this. My grandparents, Grandma Vicky and Granddad, my dad, my mom, and I don't know if you're up right now, Steve, or not, but thank you as well.
Travis Beckner, winner at North Wilkesboro.
Thank you.
All right, guys, what a fun night. I mean, Connor, I think you mentioned it in the chat here. A great race. I mean, there was a lot of drama, as you could expect at a short track like North Wilkesboro, but we got some great battles throughout the night, even with a little bit of overtime.
Yeah, there were yellows late, but you're going to have that short track. It's definitely the most complete race that we saw all week. I mean, Xfinity cars, it's not really a surprise as we take another look at the results, who finished where. But yeah, a lot of great racing throughout the field. That last long run we got really showed how good of a racetrack this really is when you can get some green flag running with all the lanes being used, top to bottom, all sorts of action. It was really fun to watch this race tonight. We'll go away from the flatter sort of track here in North Wilkesboro. We'll go to higher banks at Darlington next week, and it'll be a completely different type of race, but with the same drivers probably up at the front.
Yeah, this was a pretty eventful race. Kind of expected it. Didn't expect outside lane to get that good of a jump on the restarts, initial start, but congrats to Travis Beckner again, the 2nd win of the season, back-to-back wins for Central United. Looking to make it 3 in a row next week at Darlington.
And with Darlington on the horizon, we look forward also to the 2nd road race on the calendar. That'll be Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada the week after. So a couple really challenging races coming up before Chicagoland, Rockingham, Texas, and Talladega. But it's all Darlington, the Lady in Black, next week in Area's Season 6 as we rocket into the next week on the calendar at one of the trickiest and most classic tracks on the NASCAR calendar. Thanks so much for watching, and for Hunter Sleppy, for Connor Horn, and for myself, Kyle Heyer. Appreciate you joining us tonight, and we'll see you next week from Darlington Raceway. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.